Hello, today I will be running you through the ins and outs of perception. What is perception, you might ask? Perception is the process of rationalizing what information makes it through the filter. Let me break it down for you. So here we have a little diagram. This diagram goes from the top to the bottom. Up here we have reality. This is information we receive on a day-to-day basis and experiences. This is our filter. This filter is almost like a coffee ground catcher. You're dripping the coffee through and it's catching all the grounds that you don't want. What do you do with this filter when you're done? You crumple it up, get it out of here. It's the exact same as our brain. Our brain has one just like that. And the information we don't care for, isn't really important to us, or seems irrelevant, our brain catches it, gets it out of there. But with the stuff that makes it through, we do 4 things. We select, organize, store, and interpret. All these fall into each other. The first one, select, that's the information we've selected to come through the filter. With this, we tend to not see the world for what it is, but what we are. It's pretty interesting. With organize, we organize this in patterns to best understand and comprehend what we had just learned. Then we're storing it. After we've organized it, we store it. And we store it so we can then interpret it and have a response to what has happened. With this comes factors that affect it and create our filter. These factors that affect our perception are age. An old person and a young person tend to see the world a lot differently. That's why they tend to disagree. Gender, women and men tend to see the world more like up and down, where girls tend to see it more emotionally. Social economic status, poor and rich people see the world very differently. A poor person sees $10 and thinks, this is my food for the week. Where a rich person sees $10 and thinks, that's a trip to the gas station to get some snacks. Health is a big part of my perception, and I'll get into my testimony here in a sec. But sick people tend to see it a lot differently than healthy people. The world changes a lot through that. And culture. Culture is a big part. How we were raised, how we grew up, how we learned when we grew up, all this stuff is a big part and big factors into how we perceive things. So let me get into my own testimony on perception. For me, the health has played a big role in my perception. When I was really young, I found out I had a life-threatening peanut allergy. My numbers were off the charts. It was quite scary to me back then. And when it comes to food, I tend to look at food as like something that's scary, and almost I'd rather avoid trying new foods and stuff like that. Where other people see new foods and they're like, this is awesome, like this is gonna be great, I love trying new foods. I wish I could do that, but it's not worth the risk to me. So my perception on food is totally skewed compared to the normal person. And there's different circumstances for every person, but that's just me personally. I'm gonna run you through some images and you just tell me what you see. Here's our first image. For me, I see 2 different things. First off, I see a rabbit. I see the ears, the eyes, the nose right here. But some people see a bird, with this being the beak, the eyes, this being the back of the head. What about here? Take a close look at this one. This one's pretty detailed. Here I see 2 people and they're sitting. One's having a drink, one's playing the guitar. Look like they're having a pretty good time. But if you take a little bit of a step back, then I see an older woman and an older man face to face. That's pretty interesting to me. And then this one. This one's my favorite. At first glance, you might just see chess pieces or candle stands. But if you look really closely, I see one person here, one person here, one person here, and one person here standing face to face. All this is based off of our perception on the world. It changes from person to person. No one person's perception is the same of anything. As far as perception goes, there's a thing called self-concept. This is a relatively stable set of perceptions we hold about ourselves. As far as those go, there's 3 main ones: self-esteem, self-worth, and self-image. Self-esteem is our confidence in one's own worth. Self-worth, though, is the internal sense of feeling like you can be loved or respected. Somebody with low self-worth almost feels like they don't deserve it. Everybody deserves it, in my opinion. And then self-image. It's a personal view or mental picture of themselves. All this can play a very big role in perception, and I think is really important when trying to get a grasp of this concept. If I want you to take away one thing from this mini lecture, I want you to try and think about what factors affect your perception most. Thank you.